So this is a video to help perform a fire ritual. It's for the Anutara yoga class of ritual, normally for Guya Samaja, Yamantaka, Heruka, Vajrayini, and Shrimani Tara. Now, in doing this fire ritual, I've set out the table with how you would organize it. But first you should understand fire rituals. So at the time of the Buddha, or even prior to the time of the Buddha, it was very common for making offerings to the gods via fire, because fire would take the substance that you're offering, transform it into, well, it will turn into energy, and then that would be transmitted to the god. And so therefore it was said that Agni was sort of like the courier service to take whatever offering you had and bring it to the gods. And the special quality is that also fire purifies whatever the offering would be. Anyway, so as sort of the cost of this was that Agni got to take a bite or to take part of the offering for himself upon then delivering it to the particular god, Shiva, Parvati, or Brahma, or whomever. Anyway, so as time passed though, the gods became unhappy to sort of always receive, for example, a cake with a bite out of it, or some other offering with some portion of it missing, because Agni took his portion for his fee. And so at one point then the gods decided, we don't need Agni anymore, I prefer to have my offering received in a complete manner. And so Agni said, that's fine, I will no longer do it. So therefore the Brahmins or the priests would then make offerings to the gods directly. But what would happen is that even if there was a little bit of impurity in the offering, then the god would receive that and then, would say, have problems in some way or other. And so after some time, the gods then being made ill or whatever would be appropriate by the offerings of the priests, they realized that they needed Agni again. And so they approached Agni and said, please can you return to your doing the service of bringing our offerings to us. But this time, because Agni then had, you might say, the upper hand, he said, well, that's fine, I'll do it again, but I have a special requirement that the first offering and the last offering of a fire ritual will be given to me. And so therefore, from that time onwards, and this is in Hinduism, that the first offering is made to Agni, then they invoke the god of the particular offering, Brahma or Vishnu, Shiva, whatever. They make offerings to that god, and then at the end, then they make again offerings to Agni to say thank you. Now, when Buddhism came along, fire rituals are still very much part of the practice, but Buddha just said, well, we're not going to do anything new, we'll just assume or take the way that it's been done with in Hinduism. And so therefore in Buddhism, then basically we do the same thing. Offer to Agni, offer to the deity, and then offer to Agni. Now before you can see here that there's the offerings. I can't see, you can see them all, but they're in the order of, for example, the oil, and in this case you can use ghee, but I think a good quality oil is sufficient, for here, because ghee isn't that easy to attain. And remember, it's the idea is that it's an offering to a god, something that's pure. So some things are a bit cultural, and some things are, well, let's say cultural in the thing. So ghee isn't that common here, so I think olive oil or a good quality cooking oil is just fine, because it is something that is edible. Then there's the wood, which you can use wooden branches. In this particular case, it's hard to find them, where we live. So we're using little wooden sticks. I think they're made from bamboo. So the thing is that they're clean. They're not in any way dirty. Then there's the sesame seeds, which represents purifying negativity. White rice, and then I can't remember all of the names, but anyway, then I think it's muesli, then grass, then then it's, I forget it, I think another offering, then 2 types of barley, and then green peas, wheat berries, and then again a muesli. Again, it's in the sadhana that the order. And so why you have 2 sets of plates is because the larger portion of the plate would be offering for the god, or the deity in this case, like, so for example, Yamantaka. But you need to make sure you don't use up all the offering. So I always suggest that you have 2 plates. The smaller plate is for Agni, you offer half of that put it back on the table, and then you basically go and offer, you invoke, in this case, the deity, offer the full plate of that, and then having completed all of the 12 or 14 offerings, depending on the particular deity, then you basically go back and offer the last bit for Agni. It also refers to tambule, which is, I think, sort of like toothpaste or a mouthwash. I always recommend just you get a stick of butter like this. In this case, you cut this in half, and this is one offering is for the deity, and the second offering at the end of the fire ritual is for Agni. It's a mouthwash, and then depending on the color of the fire ritual, you offer some cloth. So sometimes you offer kartas, but in this case we just have white cloth because this is a purification ritual. So that's what's being offered. And then in this case, if it was Vajragini, there would also be the offering of meat and alcohol. So this is the way that it's set up here in the kitchen. You also have to basically put a sauce with it, which is called the 3 whites and the 3 sugars. So every one of the offerings should be clean. And then you take the 3 whites are butter, milk, and yogurt, and the 3 sweets are sugar, brown sugar, and honey. You put those, mix those together, and just it's like in this case, this is what we have here. Okay, you mix it together, and then in a larger bowl. So, for example, this is the one we used. You put the offering in. You put in a spoonful of the offering. You mix it up to make it that it's all coated. Therefore, it has you would say a salsa with it, a spice with it, and then you put it on a plate. And then you do the next offering and the next offering. All the offerings should have the 3 sweets and the 3 reds on them. Okay, so that prepares you for the actual ritual. We will now go outside.